Hi everyone, good to see you all. I'll just try and get. Hi again, Simon. Hi, Matt. Hi, Pepper. Yes, I managed to make you a moderator, Simon. I figured it out how to do it, and uh, and also you too, Matt. Um, right, let's see if I can get chat up on my phone. I escaped from the Eight of Swords. Um, Kate, isn't it? I think your name's Kate. I'm gradually learning people's names. Um, right, so this is part two. Um, it's a it's a follow on from yesterday's discussion about personal. Hi, Dave. Um, Personal spiritual path, developing your personal spiritual path, and particularly from my viewpoint of developing mine. I'm at that point where um, um, I've had my channel since January this year, um, and it's about a year since I really started getting into tarot, and and many changes have happened over the past few months that I've connected. Hi, Keith. I've connected with some wonderful people here in this community, and I've experienced a lot of changes for the better. And we were talking about belief system yesterday, where my beliefs were in the past. Um, I didn't grow up with any set beliefs or religion from the family in the home. But in my teenage years, a friend um, introduced me to his church, and I became involved in the Christian church with very fundamental beliefs. And I was there for a number of years, and I followed those beliefs. And I would have considered things like this tarot and things like that would be not acceptable, and you we'd all be destined for judgment, etc. But I think deep down I was never really comfortable with that. Thank you, Pepper. So and then an incident occurred where me and the church parted ways, and then there was a number of years where I wasn't involved in anything. And then last year, um, I was just online, and came across. I've always had an interest in spiritual things and things like tarot, things like that. But obviously, when I was in the church, it was a no-no. Although I did dabble now and again on the quiet, interestingly enough. Um, but so anyway, and then I found this community, and I found people's videos, like Simon from Hermit's Cave was a very one of the very early ones, and then I was gradually drawn in, and I took part in chats and lurked. Yes, I know Simon, but I think their view is that I was never quite genuine. But and and in no way am I putting down Christians in entirety, because there's some. I mean, even the church I was in, there was some nice, genuine, sincere people that were caring and compassionate, but there was a lot of politics and judgmental attitudes and everything that that I'm glad to be away from, and that's what I love about this community, about accepting everybody. And I looked about watching the videos, taking part in chats, and then I started my channel in January, and this is where I am now. So that's just a quick summation about what we were talking about yesterday. And one of the questions was, what do I class myself as? What would I put on a form? And I said, well, the question really shouldn't be on a form, because why is it anybody else's business? And if they want to know, if they meet me and want to know, then fine. I'll tell them. But I would class myself at the moment as a spiritual seeker. I was also asked if I would consider myself pagan. Um, and if pagan in the sense of that I'm drawn to things that will perhaps would have existed pre-Christian, the Christian religion. So in that sense, I um, I am pagan in that sense. We talked about deity, whether or not I believe in deity, and how I would want to connect with deity, if at all. And we're discussing that not all pagans connect with deity, although some do. And there's different branches of being a pagan. And I said that up to now I'd been a little bit reluctant to even think about deity because of that's a good word, eclectic. Thank you, Matt. That's a very good a good way of looking at it. And yes, you combine different practices. Yeah, and I know that's what you started to do, and I think that's similar to what I'm looking to do at the moment. Um, and getting back to the deity, I think that because of my Christian path, and that concept there, I think that's been a little bit of a blockage. That I've moved away from any kind of concept of deity. Um, Not that there's anything wrong with it. That's just my own personal view. Yes, religions are beautiful in their own ways. There's when viewed the right way, there's something in them, in all of them, and and I'm going to touch upon that in a bit. Um, and What I was saying about connecting with deity, that I know people that are, particularly in the Wicca or witchy community. Um, they have the gods and goddesses, and they connect with those. And I think it was Jennifer Willowin, the 50 Witch, who was talking about um, I there to my spirit, and and she was talking about how she views it as that these deities as just a personal expression of the energy of the universe, and that's the way you're connecting with it, with each particular deity. Of That's how it's expressing itself in connecting with you, and that I can understand, and that in its sense means it's like these religions across and spiritual paths that we have are just expressions of the same energy, the same universe, and it's just different ways of connecting to that same source. That's that universal source that's there. And sometimes we can get really bogged down by labels, and there's more to spiritual life than labels. So that's just what we like to have to perhaps understand things, but really it's all part of the same thing. So this issue of deities, um, because of some tarot readings I've had, and a card in particular in the oracle which I showed yesterday, where the universe had a face on it and expresses itself in a personal way. That I know that's something I've got to learn to do, to because energy is expressed through us as people as well. That's what I was saying yesterday as well. That as people, that's what it, the energy is expressed through us as people and to one another, and that's how we can connect there. So that's how I've dealt with that little blockage of connecting with any kind of deity. And of course, there's no there's nothing to say that you have to view it that way, but I think I've got to at least have a go with that. I think as part of my personal growth and perhaps getting rid of some past hang-ups, as it were. So I think for me personally, that's where I'm being led. But of course, that's a big issue, and I will leave that for another time because there's loads of deities and what's my sign? I'm my sun sign is Pisces. Um, my moon is in Aquarius, and my ascendant rising sign is in Gemini. And that's the three major. Oh, you're Pisces too, Keith. Well done. Yeah, so those are the three bits that I do know about astrology, that I've found out. So I haven't gone too heavily into astrology because I think that's a very deep rabbit hole that you can get lost down. Maybe for the future. Oh, your rising is Pisces, Pepper, right? So there's some strong Pisces elements here. Right. So as I said, the issue of deities and connecting with that, I'm going to leave because it's a very involved subject, and that might be for a separate time, and I need to do some more research on that. The other thing I was talking about yesterday was about sacred space, and I said that up until now, I I was of the opinion that I myself was a sacred space, and that's where all the spiritual things took place, and that's still true. But I am now seeing the value of having an external sacred space that is an expression of that inner connection. So that's something I want to set up pretty soon. So what I thought I would do today is get some ideas of what to include in a sacred space. So I think the first thing your sun is in Aries, rising Pisces, and moon in Scorpio. I think the first thing in a sacred space I would like I to include is to do with the elements, to represent the different elements. I think most sacred spaces and altars that I've seen include those. So so we've got fire, earth, water, air, and maybe spirit if you want to include a fifth. So I know you're watching your Buffalo Bills, but thank you for popping in. And are they winning yet? I know they were behind last time I looked. Thank you, Matt. And so, sacred space for the element of fire, because that's what I've written down. I want to make some notes. Any suggestions of what you can use to represent fire? Still losing. I don't know. Well, I can think of one. I've got a candle lit there, so I can see that a candle would represent fire. Anything else you feel that could represent fire? Yeah, candle. That's obvious. Incense burner. Oh yeah, an incense burner. I don't have one of those, but I could always get one. Um, a red triangle. Oh, I see what you mean. Red for the fire and the triangle for the element symbol. Do you know I would never have thought of that? Yes, that's an excellent idea. Brilliant. Thank you. That's see anything you collect in nature. Yes, that's the other thing. Right. So well, we've got lava stone or lava rock, Jen. Oh, not quite sure where I'm going to find one of those, but but I will write it down. Yes, a red stone. Yes. Um, although, yeah, I know what you're saying with that. Right, so move on. Let's move quickly on to Earth. Good enough for that you and I have the four element triangle tattooed on your arm, and you couldn't think of it. No, never mind. We all get that. So right, let's go on. Let's move on to Earth. Um, salt or cup of salt or dirt. Really, Jen, I would be really grateful. Yes, I'll do that. I will certain. Yeah, that'd be very generous of you. Um, earth, dirt, salt, um, rocks, um, twigs and leaves. Anything that you. I mean, I can go out. Pine cones. Yes, pine cones, leaves. Crystals, yes, I thought that too, Simon. I've got some crystals I could put there as well. Yeah, that's some very good suggestions. Excellent, brilliant. And um, the water element, obviously, you could put some water there. Favorite for Earth is always petrified wood. Do they have do they if Simon's there, do they have petrified? Do they sell petrified wood at Lysian? Um, water, yes, water, representing water. Yeah, you could put a little bowl of water or a shell. Although um, probably I don't know where I'm going to find one of those. There'd be some a shell. You could have a shell, couldn't you, to represent the sea? Um, and yes, thank you. Shell, a bowl of water, anything connected, anything connected to water. Um, part of your next giveaway will be Chalice Well water. Oh, is that the one you got from Glastonbury that you filled up with Glastonbury? Um, sand, yeah, because that can be earth, and I'll definitely be entering that giveaway. um, One of those water balls that change color and do steam when you turn it on. Ooh, not heard of those. Yes, that's a good one, Pepper. Yeah, petrified wood, scared to death, petrified, running away. Yes, um, yes, it. Right, so that's water. Now here, air, I would guess feather, for air. Um, Anything else for air? Um, yeah, feather. Um, oh, incense smoke. Yes, incense smoke. Um, Butterfly. But a bell. Yes, because of sound. Yes, yes, I like that. Um, those are very good suggestions. Um, yeah, some of these could overlap, couldn't they? A bat bell. Yeah, it's it's what they it's what they used to summon Batman. Oh, that was the bat phone, wasn't it? Um, right, that gives me some really good ideas for that. And the other element that I'm including is the fifth. Um, yeah, we're not talking about a real bat, are we, Jen? Because they're protected. We're talking a representation of a bat. um, so, right, then the last one is the element of spirit. So, what can we have for to represent spirit? And I suppose, um, yeah, I guess that, Jen. I was only kidding. um, as I say, well, they are a protected species, particularly here in the UK, and I would be sent to jail if I was going around um, a quartz crystal for spirit, a mirror. Hello, Hexen. Good to see you. Clay doll. Um, Poppet crystal. Um, yeah, that would represent spirit. Um, okay. Oh, yes, a pentacle. That's a good idea because that would then bring that would bring all fire, all the elements together. Skull. Yes, I'm glad you've said skull there, Matt, because um, one of the other things did it. What did it answer with? um, what were the other thing that I want to represent is the concept of ancestors. Um, that's one of the things that I love about Matt's practice. I know it's not just in his practice, um, but it's something that I do connect with. I'm I strongly have a big affiliation with family, and I've even done some research into family background and ancestry, that kind of thing. And I really want to have some representation honoring those that have gone before me. Um, and Skull equals what was that Matt said? Skull equals soul equals spirit, ancestors also. So the skull would also would fit with that as well. So that would do the spirit aspect as well as the ancestor. And I think I'm going to perhaps find a couple of photos of family members that have passed on, like my mother, for instance, my grandparents, and include them there to represent them. Oh, you're going to do a video, are you, Matt? On ancestor worship and altar setup, the Matty way, the Matty way. I like that. I'll be very interested in looking at that video. So let me know when you're going to put it up. That'd be cool. Um, the I only have one skull, and it's actually a candle, but I've never used it. But I got it around Halloween, and it's in the shape of a skull. And you're supposed to light it, and they're supposed to have red coming out there. But that's the skull I've got. But I'm also wanting to get some of um, those little skulls that you can get with the various made out of various things. But I do like skulls, yes. And and you know, when I first looked at this, the the name I got um was Hector. So I call him Hector, and that was the first name that came to mind. Now Hector is not a name I would naturally think of, but he just looked like an Hector. So that's Hector, my skull candle. So just thought I'd introduce you to Hector there. Um, you're losing patience with your phone, Matt. Now don't smash it. Uh, breathe in and take a breath, count to 10, and all that. Yeah, I know I got I know I've seen you say that when you talked about those schools that you've got those guardians. Um, oh, we're dragon for air as well. Yes, I guess I'm quite fond of dragons as well. Game of Thrones and all that, and representing fire, wouldn't it as well? So thank you for that. Um, that was yeah, that was a very good suggestion. Um, yeah, but as I say, getting back to Jen, yes, I know I saw your video with them having names, and and it was just the first thought when I looked at it. I thought that's Hector, and I thought, well, where's that name come from? So so anyway, that was just that I got that for Halloween, and I keep it around because it for me that does represent answer my ancestors, and um, you got a dragon incense burner, brilliant. Yours is Boris. Boris, yeah, Boris. Well done. Ah, Boris. So we've got an Hector and a Boris. Um, Lovely. Right. So, um, so ancestors. Um, I put photos, skull, and things like that. So, right. So that's some ideas on what I can do. Um, that's the basic setup, I think, for my sacred space. And I think anyone can create a sacred space like that. Um, and then I think it's important because it's an expression of who you are and what's at the core of you, and it's got to be more. You can make it more um, little offering dish. That's that's excellent. Yes, very good. Thank you. Um, it's important, I think, to make it personal to you because it's an expression of you, and so these are very general ideas that anybody can use, and that's good because that if anybody here is wanting ideas for that, that's brilliant. And so, but then there's things that I think that you got to look for to make it personal to you. And I've already mentioned like deities, gods and goddesses that you can have represented, and I said that that's a subject I need to look into further before going in into that. Um, and These other things I think as well. Other things that obviously, yeah. What is it with phones? It's technology in general, I think. Are we out of this Mercury retrograde nuisance thing? Yeah, I mean, how long does this go on for? This seems to go on forever. This Mercury retrograde, if anybody follows that, it ends on Thursday, does it? Yeah. Do we? Um, you're naming your skull Brady, which in Gaelic means spirited. Oh, that's interesting, Matt. That's good. Not until Thursday, so we've got to put up with it till Thursday. Right. And I don't suppose then it's swapping for another retrograde or anything. Oh, you advised. Well, yes, I meant to put something about your car. Well done, Simon, getting your car. Um, you were advised not to buy a car during Mercury retrograde. Yeah, but it always seems to be Mercury retrograde. Every other moment, it seems to be something's in retrograde, and like everything's going backwards all the while. It seems when. I know that's not the case, but sometimes it just seems like it sometimes it's something or other. If it's not Mercury, it's something else is in retrograde. It's going backwards, and I'm thinking, start moving forwards. We're supposed to be moving forwards, not backwards. So anyway, 4 times a year for a couple of weeks. Yeah, it does feel like it's been going on forever. So, yeah, as I say, astrology is a rabbit hole that I'm not prepared to go down fully yet because I could get lost for years. So, and these are the things I want to explore first. So, to make it more personal, how would I, for instance, um, how would I make it more personal? Um, a sixth of the year. Yeah, it seems more than that. And other, I think it's isn't doesn't Jupiter go in retrograde or one of the other ones go in retrograde? Yeah. Anyway, never mind all this retrograde. Um, we're concentrating on moving forward. Um, and I'm thinking of putting representation, say, on which gods or goddesses do you follow? Um, at the moment, Jen, none. But I will want your input at some point because that is going to change. Um, so that's something further down the line that I want to look at bringing in. So, but none as yet. It's this issue of deity because of the hang-ups of Christian. Um, yeah, I mean, I think as apart from the gods and goddesses as well, you can have colors that are important to you. I was thinking representations of yeah, Gaia, Mother Earth, um, things like that. Um, yeah, I was wondering because of my connection with the ocean that maybe some kind of ocean or sea god and or goddess there at some point, but I will look into that later. That I don't want to go down that rabbit hole um at this moment with that, but that's certainly on the agenda. I was thinking of putting some representations of the animals I connect with, uh, like fish or dolphins. I also like I could have like eagle represented. Um, I have yeah. I'll definitely consult with you, Jen. Um, and I mean, you can't see it because it's over there, but I have a clock with an eagle on it. I do have a little eagle model somewhere that I could put there. Um, yeah, yeah, that represents the animals that I connect with. There's the main animals that I connect with, and I don't know whether that means that they're my spirit animals, but the ones that I've always connected with. For the water, it's been dolphins. Um, and for the air, it was eagle. And and for the land, I um it's either been, well, I mean, I connect with like domestic animals like dogs. I do like cats, but I do connect with dogs more. Um, and I also like wolves as well. And apparently, I looked up the other day, my Native American spirit thing for the birth month is wolf. So but I particularly like tigers. In fact, I liked tigers more than lions, and I don't know, there was just something about them. Um, oh, the things that happen to these dolphins, it breaks my heart because they're the most lovely creatures. I mean, I like most animals. Um, and that's something I'm going to put in favorite things like animals. And yes, Simon, and indeed everyone, um, when I've gotten these things together and set it up, I'm certainly going to be sharing it with you all. Yeah, no, I thought about that. Yeah, I just think there's so. I think it's because the color, and I don't know. There's just something about them. I mean, I like lions too. Don't get me wrong. Um, I like all animals. I think all animals are precious. They're gifts that of the world around us, and I just love them. Um, so, but those are the main three. I've always liked tigers. I like elephants as well. But tigers and eagles and dolphins are the main three that of the wild animals that I particularly have always been drawn to, and so I would include those, and then colors that mean, something of color that represents me as well, and of course. Tarot should be represented because that's become a very important part of my life. So tarot, you put a card there to represent maybe your daily draw or whatever. That would be a good idea. So I've got some fantastic ideas there for that this sacred space. Um, and Pinterest is a yes, I thought about that. To start with following Mother Earth, Father Sky, um, without naming them, if I'm not there yet, that might be a good bridge. That might be a good way to bridge into that, because then that's a very good idea, Jen. Actually, um, because that represents the masculine, the feminine energy, um, without getting too specific. Yeah, I don't, that's a very good suggestion. I'll probably incorporate that. See, getting some wonderful ideas here. Um, yes, Mother Earth and Father Sky. Yeah, I've heard of Father Time, Grandmother Moon, and Grandfather Sun. Oh, I do like that. Grandmother Moon and the Grandfather Sun. Oh, I like that. I like that. Yeah, yeah. I do. I've been drawn particularly to the moon recently. Um, so yeah, so maybe some representation of the moon as well. Um, yeah, excellent. Thank you, Jennifer. Um, yes, in Father Sky Native American? I don't know. I don't know. As I say, I'm very new to this. So this is why I want, yes. And this is the other thing about when developing a spiritual practice. Um, you don't get on with Pinterest, Simon. Well, yeah, it's you you have to know how to get into it. I don't get it totally, but I do like it because I can get you can get some wonderful ideas and yeah, but maybe we can explain it to you at some point, Simon. Um, probably when we're not in Mercury retrograde because of the technology aspect. Um, so it won't be till after Thursday. Have I seen Jen's Pinterest? Yes, Jen's Pinterest is something you can get lost in for well, for days even if you're not careful. Yeah, you can. I get lost in Pinterest all the time. Yes, when you've got a few hours there, Matt, I, find Jen's Pinterest, and there's some really good stuff there. I've had a quick look as well, so as well as other places on Pinterest. Um, so yeah, yes, the last thing I want to bring up is in developing this personal spiritual practice that is right for you. And then we never saw him again. This is it. Um, the thing that I have in my mind as well is being careful about this cultural appropriation aspect. You know, not drawing too much from cultures that you don't belong to. Jen will know what I'm talking about. Um, because I want to be respectful of whatever practice or elements of practice that I bring into my spiritual path. And I don't want to be disrespectful to any culture or background. So I want to be careful when trying to connect with something that belongs to a culture that I don't readily have a connection with. Um, I think for if what Jen was saying before was that as long as you're not trying um, to um, make something gain out of it, um, as long as it's just you're taking a an element of practice from some culture that you like. Um, I mean, meditation and yoga and things like that can come from an Eastern culture that we're not part of, but we can incorporate it into our spirituality as long as God. I think that's fine. and as long as we do it with respect and, you know, just seeking to uh, bring elements that are naturally drawn to us, I think that's acceptable. Did you lose me? I'm still here, but I'll be going shortly. Um, it is a delicate topic, um, because we mentioned the stone. This stone it's a sodalite stone, um, and yes, there is. Yeah, I feel that too, Jen. There's a way to borrow and honor, as long as you don't make money or gain from it. And no, I wouldn't be wanting to do that, because my spiritual practice is not about that. It's about growing spiritually. It's connecting with the the world, the energy of the universe. It's connecting with other people, and learning aspects of other cultures in order to be able to understand and connect with people that are different to me. And so and this is a big topic, the idea of culture and connecting with it and honoring it. And we don't have time for that now, because I think Matt and Dave are going to go live in about 10 minutes, and I want to watch that as well. um yeah, and appreciate, not appropriate. That I think is the key there, Simon. Very a very good way. That's a wonderful way of looking at it. And I think as long as we have that in mind, um, then we can. And Becca's live after that. Oh, no end to the lives today. Um, yeah, brilliant. Yeah, I think as long as we have that right attitude there and approach to it, I think we can, move forward, not be too worried about it, and and if we become aware that maybe we've gotten something a little bit wrong, we can put it right. Um, if I think, like Simon, when you changed your channel name, um, because you know the subject arose, and you changed it. So um, so we shouldn't get too hung up. I think as long as we're conscious about that, and we move forward with the right spirit, we're okay. And so we'll leave it there. We've made some progress. There may even be a part 3 to this once I get going, but I've got some wonderful ideas. Um, yes, Simon, when you know better, you do better. That's right. As long as you've got that teachable attitude, that teachable spirit, then that's brilliant. Thanks, Kate. Thanks, everyone. Thank you all for joining. It's been wonderful, and it's been good to see you all. And oh, oh dear, Jen's struggling with her football. Yes, you go off and sort those out. So I will end by saying thank you all for listening, and I'm sure this won't be the last live that I do, and I want to wish you all well, and I'll see you all again soon. In fact, I'll be popping into the other chats. So that's it. You go and set up Simon. Not Simon, Matt. I'm just reading Simon's comment here. Yes, Matt and Dave, and then Becca. Okay, then. Bye, everyone. Take care. Blessings to all, and see you again soon. Bye bye.